This is the story of Deborah Brandeo, a 33-year-old single mother who was fatally stabbed 38 times by her ex-boyfriend Danelo Cavalcante, in her front yard, and in the presence of her two young children. Hello, and welcome to Killer Crimes. Like and subscribe for more videos.
And new at 6, a Chester County man is behind bars tonight after he's accused of killing his ex-girlfriend in front of her young children. Police say Danelo Cavalcante stabbed Deborah Brandeo yesterday afternoon outside of her Schuylkill Township home. According to investigators, Brandeo's 7-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son witnessed the crime, and the little girl identified the suspect for police.
The pain these children and all of Ms. Brandeo's loved ones are enduring as a result of the defendant's depravity is horrific. We will ensure that the defendant is brought to justice for this cold-blooded, premeditated, and despicable act.
Police arrested Cavalcante in Virginia. He already had a restraining order put in place against him last December.
This story takes us to Schuylkill Township, Pennsylvania. Schuylkill Township is characterized by its scenic landscapes and open spaces. It encompasses a mix of suburban and rural areas with rolling hills, woodlands, and beautiful countryside. Deborah was born and raised in Brazil. She moved to U.S. to provide her and her children a better life than what she could in Brazil. When she met Cavalcante, she believed she'd finally found a good man. But, over time, he began to change, growing jealous and abusive, causing Deborah to file a restraining order against him. Sources report that on April 18, 2021, Cavalcante pulled up to Deborah's home in Schuylkill Township, where she sat in the front yard with her two young children, a 3-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl. The reports claim Cavalcante aggressively exited his vehicle, threatened the family that he was going to do something bad, then reached into a bag, pulled out a knife, and fatally stabbed Deborah 38 times, killing her in the presence of her two young children. Deborah didn't have a lot of family, but she was particularly close to her sister Sarah. Deborah and her sister Sarah were inseparable. They lived near each other and worked together at Sarah's house cleaning business. According to a Facebook post from the Chester County District Attorney's Office, Sarah reported, "When Deborah began dating Danelo Cavalcante, everything seemed to be going fine. She reported Cavalcante was nice to her and her children. Deborah was happy, he kept her company, and she didn't feel alone anymore." A year and a half into the relationship, Cavalcante became physically abusive and threatened her life. With this abuse and being fearful for her life, Deborah eventually filed a restraining order to be safe from Danelo. Deborah discovered Cavalcante's gruesome past. She learned the Brazilian police was looking for him for an alleged murder he committed in 2017, leading him to flee to the United States. She threatened to tell the authorities, which set Cavalcante over the edge, eventually, leading him to murder Deborah. According to sources, on August 16, 2023, Cavalcante was found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Weeks later, August 31, 2023, Cavalcante escaped from Chester County Prison and remains on the run. Footage has been released of Danelo's escape from prison, just weeks after his conviction. Cavalcante was spotted on camera sneaking off to himself and scaling a wall until he is out of the camera's sight. Information on how he carried out his escape has not yet been released and is currently under investigation. Sources report the guard on duty has been released of his duties but has not been identified.
He has been on the run for 7 days, and now we're getting a closer look at how convicted murderer Danelo Cavalcante escaped the Chester County Prison.
Now, here's video just released this afternoon. Police say that is Cavalcante there on the left. And just watch. He is shimmying his way up between the two walls. Remember, this guy's 5 foot tall. I'm Jason Martinez.
And I'm Sheba Russell. Today, the prison's acting warden providing a timeline of Cavalcante's escape. At 8:33 last Thursday morning, Cavalcante's cell block entered the prison yard for recreational time. At 8:51, you saw that video right there. Cavalcante escapes, shimmying up the walls there at the prison.
And then prison officials realized that they had a missing inmate by 9:45, and at 9:50 they put the prison on lockdown. 911 was notified 10 minutes later.
All right, let's get right out to Jeff Cole live in Westchester. Jeff, this is looking more and more like a movie as this stretches on here.
Yeah, it's absolutely startling. You said he's 5 feet tall. You're right. He's 5 feet tall. He's 120 pounds, and he can obviously climb walls, as we see in that video. First, let me tell you a little bit about the search. It is ongoing, as you say. It's gone in now to its 7th day. Last night, Lieutenant Colonel Bivens of the state police said in a briefing this afternoon that they had a sighting of him at a place called Chandler Road. They looked for him. They did not find him. They've moved the search area apparently a little bit to the east. They believe he still is within the perimeter that they've set up here in Chester County. They believe that he wants to move to the south, the southern area of this region. They have specific places, apparently, where they think he wants to go, but they wouldn't tell us what those was. Now for the escape. Stunning video released this afternoon. Let's show it to you yet once again. The video shows 34-year-old Danelo Cavalcante last Thursday literally climbing between 2 walls to escape from the Chester County prison. Once on the roof, he raced along the roof. He crossed apparently 2 rows of razor wire or 2 obstacles of razor wire. He got past them, dropped down, and he was out. His escape has escaped, as we know, has prompted a 7-day search for him. They have not been able to turn him up. The acting warden of the prison in the press conference says Cavalcante escaped along the same route as an earlier escape in May by yet another inmate.
Can confirm that it does show that Cavalcante escaped at the same location as Igor Bolt, but for Cavalcante, there was razor wire to contend with before reaching the roof.
Should the person in the tower have seen him leave?
The position of the towers are for observation posts, which overlook the yards.
There you go. So that's the acting warden takes the role after this escape. So important to allow some context. After the early escape, they put up the razor wire up there. They thought that was enough. Apparently, they had a consultant come in here and suggested they do that. But Cavalcante got past the razor wire, dropped himself down, and was able to get out of there. Now, apparently, there was someone in the tower, but he didn't see him go. That's why Cavalcante was able to get out of here. This apparently has now become a criminal investigation, potentially, because the Attorney General of the state of Pennsylvania is now investigating the case. The folks here at the Chester County Prison say they are upping security. Obviously, they should after this, but they are upping security and doing an ongoing investigation. As for the search, 7 days and counting, they are still looking for the man. They believe he's within this region, believe that he's in their perimeter, but somehow they believe heading south. Live here in Chester County, I'm Jeff Cole, Fox 29 News, folks.
Clearly a number of lapses. Thank you for the update there, Jeff. Thank you.
With Cavalcante's escape, Deborah Brandao's sister, Sarah, remains fearful, scared for her life, her children's life, and the life of her sister's children that she now takes care of. The entire town is in fear and hoping this fugitive will be caught immediately.
Possible clue in the manhunt for a convicted killer who escaped from prison. Authorities in Pennsylvania have reported new sightings of the fugitive, and the search area has now expanded. ABC's Morgan Norwood has those details.
This morning, the urgent manhunt for escaped murderer Danelo Cavalcante entering its 7th day. The search zone expanding in a Pennsylvania forest after new reports of footprints in the area. The possible clue just a few miles from where these trail cameras captured images of him in Longwood Gardens, a sprawling botanical attraction outside Philadelphia.
The photos confirm that Cavalcante has not changed his appearance, but also that he has obtained a backpack.
Police say Cavalcante slipped through a nearby perimeter, but believe he's still lurking nearby.
We realized within just a few hours where he was, and so he's not had a tremendous amount of time to move a long distance.
We're learning more about how Cavalcante may have broken out of the Chester County Prison. Officials have not said how, but the Philadelphia Inquirer reports that a source inside the prison says Cavalcante climbed onto the roof from the exercise yard, then ran across the roof and dropped down to a less secure area. fleeing the prison grounds from there. The source says this was nearly identical to how a previous prisoner escaped only months ago. State police and the district attorney's office declined to comment on that report, and the prison did not return our request for comment. Cavalcante was previously sentenced to life in prison for killing his girlfriend in front of her children. And with Cavalcante still on the run overnight, one nearby school district closed again today.
Everybody's like a little bit nervous, I guess.
The district attorney and state police have now opened investigations into the escape.
For this area of the Pennsylvania State Police. Also, I'm joined by District Attorney Deb Ryan and also Rob Clark from the U.S. Marshal's Office. As you know, on the morning of Thursday, August 31st, inmate Danelo Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County Prison. The investigation into the escape is ongoing and is being conducted jointly by the Chester County District Attorney's Office and the Pennsylvania State Police. After the escape was detected at approximately 10 o'clock that morning, a county employee reported seeing an individual matching the description of Cavalcante south of the prison and near Route 52. Numerous law enforcement agencies searched that area but could not locate Cavalcante. The escape investigation and search was originally coordinated by the Chester County District Attorney's Office with assistance from the Pennsylvania State Police and numerous other local, state, and federal agencies. With much of the effort now focused in PSP primary coverage area, District Attorney Ryan has requested PSP to take a leading role in this investigation. We have agreed to do that and, of course, continue to work closely with the District Attorney's Office as we move forward. We continue to bring more technology and personnel to bear on this situation. Since the day of the escape, there have been several credible sightings within an area bordered by the intersection of Route 926 and 52, north on 52 to Parkersville Road, southeast to 926, and west to the intersection of 926 and 52 in Pocopson Township. In total, there have been 4 sightings within that boundary. The most recent credible sighting occurred yesterday afternoon, also within that bordered area. We have secured that area and continue to actively search it. While there are a number of challenges, we are confident that if he is in there, we will find him. We are asking for the public's help in a number of ways. First, familiarize themselves with the photograph and description of Cavalcante. There is every reason to believe he remains in this area. Second, within the secured area I've described, as well as near there, we are asking residents to check on their neighbors. If they're not at home, please let us know so we can check their property in their absence. We know that we have numerous homes within the search area in which we presume the occupants are away for the holiday weekend. We have been checking the exteriors of many of those homes, but as they return, if they find anything disturbed, please stop and call us so that we can check it out prior to them going through the residence. Third, please check your home security cameras and call us with anything suspicious you might observe. There's been a tip line established, and we can be reached at 717-562-2987. 717-562-2987. All tips, of course, will be fully investigated. We also remind everyone that a reward totaling up to $10,000 has been offered for information leading to the capture of Danelo Cavalcante. I wanted to say a couple of things to the community as well, if I could. First, you may be hearing a message that's being broadcast from a helicopter or from cars in the vicinity of that perimeter that I talked about. One of the things that we have done is we've had the individual's mother make a recording asking him to surrender peacefully. It's done in Spanish, or actually Portuguese, and it's being broadcast in an effort to facilitate his peaceful surrender. Secondly, we're also asking the community to avoid that the wooded area or anything outside of the immediate area around their homes in that perimeter that I described. As I said, we're actively searching that area. We're certainly not trying to lock anyone down, but we want to keep residents as safe as possible while we thoroughly search that area. So again, we ask them to refrain from that area. And I'd also like to thank the community for their support. This has gone on for a couple of days now. I know it's stressful for the community, but I want to assure you that all of us up here and our respective offices are working diligently to bring this to a conclusion as quickly as possible. Please know we are devoting all available resources. We're constantly identifying additional needs. We're making sure we bring those in, and we will resolve this as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. With that said, we'll be happy to take questions if any of you have any.
For the most recent sighting, can you just describe a little bit about what he looked like? Has he changed his appearance at all, and what was the nature of that sighting?
The appearance was very similar to what we've described, perhaps looking a little more worn and tired, but a very brief sighting, and it was a trooper actually that observed him in some distance. Gave chase but was unable, because of the terrain and some other obstacles there, was unable to get to him before he disappeared.
Where did he run off to, or can you just give a little bit more?
It was all within that perimeter area, but I don't want to be any more specific than that.
Can you elaborate on what makes it a credible sighting? I mean, is it all visual, or are there video components to any of it?
One was a video sighting that I believe you have all seen. We've analyzed that video. The others are not video, but after extensive interviews, we believe them to be credible sightings.
Do you have any reason to believe that he's being assisted by anyone out there at this point?
I wouldn't want to comment at this point. We'll, of course, explore all avenues, and that's always something we look for, but I wouldn't want to go into anything more right now.
Can you confirm he broke into a house?
I'm sorry?
Can you confirm that he broke into a house and stole food? We're hearing that.
We can confirm that we have investigated actually 2 burglaries. The evidence is still under analysis at this point, and so I can't confirm that it was him, but they are of interest to us.
So is that why you're telling people, because after this holiday weekend, like you said, people haven't been home, so is that really what you're stressing to people to make sure?
Well, not only because of those 2 instances, but we know that that he is going to be looking for a means to sustain himself. He's going to need clothing, he's going to need food, and just to get in out of the weather. It's pretty hot out there. I'm sure he's looking for some better shelter. So for a lot of reasons, we would be concerned about where he might hide.
Did you dispatch any of your troopers to Water Glen Drive for one of those apparent burglaries where?
That's within the search area, and yes, we have investigated a number of things within that search area. I don't want to get any more specific than that.
Obviously, it's been 5 days, so he needs to sustain himself in some way, whether that be food, water, as you mentioned, finding some type of shelter. Talk to me about when you're looking for someone who is in a desperate situation right now, what are those things that you're taking into account in terms of his needs at this point?
Well, from experience, there are a lot of things that we'll consider, but certainly you have to keep in mind, he's stressed right now. Imagine any one of you being placed in a situation where you may not have had a chance to pack, you don't have things with you other than what you're wearing, and you don't have cash, you don't have a credit card, you don't have any other means to support yourself. You're going to be desperate, and that's the situation he's in. But it's also why one of our practices in how we conduct these types of investigations and manhunts is that we'll continue to push him hard. I intend to stress him. I want to push him hard. He'll make mistakes. He'll show himself. He's already shown himself, we believe, a few times. We'll contain him, and we will eventually catch him. We will do it as quickly as possible. Obviously, it takes time. He is desperate. He does not want to be caught. He has very little to lose at this point.
With school starting up soon, will search efforts impact any bus stops for children? How should parents kind of deal with that, along with
So I'm going to defer to the school districts to communicate that information out. I can tell you that we have been in touch with the State Department of Education, having discussions about this, and also the district attorney has been in touch with several of the local superintendents. We're going to have another discussion later this afternoon. Ultimately, the decision rests with the school districts. We can provide them sort of the latest picture of what's going on in their areas, and then we ask them to make that decision and communicate that out to the parents.
Have you authorized the use of deadly force to apprehend him?
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
If he is not actively surrendering, deadly force is authorized.
This is for Deborah. Have you completed your investigation into the prison break at this point, or are you still reviewing things?
Mike, our goal right now is to find this man and capture him. So we are channeling all of our efforts to bring him into custody. That is secondary, that is certainly a concern, but at this point, all manpower has been executed to find and hunt down this fugitive.
But it's been 5 days, how can you not explain how he escaped?
As I indicated, our focus right now is to capture this fugitive. He's a dangerous person. We will be able to update our investigation with respect to what happened at the prison at a later date.
Right, but I mean, obviously the question is, like, could other people also escape? I mean, is there something, you know, at issue with the prison where somebody else could pull this off?
They have been looking into what happened and they are investigating what happened. I'm not at liberty at this point to share with the public what is going on with respect to that investigation. The prison is very aware of whatever vulnerabilities they had, and they have made efforts to correct those vulnerabilities.
To clarify, you know how he escaped and you're just not saying, or you just don't know yet?
As I indicated, we are working on the investigation with respect to the escape, but our main focus right now is to capture this fugitive.
Because you confirmed Friday that there was another escape 2 months prior to this. So
Yes, there was.
So you did confirm that.
That's correct.
So months prior?
I believe it was in May of this year.
Okay, so that's not 2 months prior.
Well, we interviewed a neighbor who said that he was in his shed. I thought that you escaped a couple months ago.
I think we're talking about the same suspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you
Does
confirm
this
about when
guy
you're talking
seem
to
like
the-
he had a plan at all, or was this I mean, it doesn't seem like he knew where to go.
At this time, we don't know, Mike, and we're conducting that investigation
Can
currently.
you elaborate on talking to the superintendents? Because we've talked to, all of us have talked to so many neighbors, right, who are apoplectic, I want to use the word, just so upset,
Yeah.
right? Can you talk to them about, you know, they're saying they're not getting a lot of communication. They don't know what to do. They are having guns by their side, like literally so upset. Can you just talk to them about what is going on and how you can allay their fears? Of what they should
Absolutely.
do?
And our main concern is with the residents in this community. Of course, we want to make sure that they are protected and kept safe. We have been in communication with the superintendents. We have been sending out reverse 911 calls to the residents in a 2-mile perimeter. So they're getting updates that the rest of the community outside of that area are not getting. So we're making every effort to be in touch with them. Regarding the schools and how we want to operate moving forward, we have a call this afternoon to talk that out with the superintendents. But like Colonel Bivens indicated, it's going to be a decision that the school districts have to make on their own, but we're going to provide them with all the information that they need to make an educated decision on that.
What would you like to say to the neighbors, though, if they're scared?
I understand that, and I want to say that we are doing everything in our power to get this guy, and people are working round the clock. I understand their fears, but we are doing everything. We're bringing in all the experts in this area. We have the top men and women working round the clock to bring this man to justice, and we're not going to stop until he's captured, and we hope we're getting closer.
And if I could just jump back in here. Thank you. With regard to the neighbors, or the people in this area, I want to assure them that we have a strong presence there. They are not on their own out there. We have people close by. If they hear or see anything, call us. We will be happy to come check it out. They don't need to go outside and check out a suspicious noise, or if they hear something in their homes, we'll take care of it right away. We're close by. It's not going to take long at all to have somebody there. So we're happy to do that. And again, please know that we are doing everything. We ask for their indulgence of the heavy police presence, but that's one of the ways that we can, as best possible, assure their safety.
Is there anything that people should be avoiding, any behavior that they should avoid? As you mentioned, don't go out into the woods, but this is a holiday. Obviously, you know, people have family get-togethers, family reunions, etc. Should they be staying inside and kind of canceling everything that they had already?
No, we're not asking people to do that. There's been no indication that that he poses that kind of a threat to anyone in those neighborhoods. He doesn't want to be caught. He doesn't want to go back. Now, could he be desperate and do something? Sure, but we don't have information to suggest that anyone is at risk for going out in their yard. What we're saying is to avoid interfering with the search, you know, avoid those wooded areas. And again, that's a fairly small area, maybe a mile and a half across. The rest of the area, we're not even asking people to avoid the woods. It's within that perimeter area that we've set up that we're just asking for those, not even restrictions, some cooperation to make our jobs a little bit easier.
And this is all within that 2-mile radius from the Chester County Prison, this whole area that's on lockdown.
Yes.
So to speak. And then again, the use of deadly force, is this shoot to kill on sight, or if he doesn't actively cooperate?
Well, the term is not shoot to kill. It's deadly force is authorized, and it's if he is not actively surrendering. We do consider him to be a very dangerous individual. He is convicted of homicide here, was involved in, I'm told, in another homicide in Brazil some years ago. It's somebody that we think poses a threat and needs to be taken out of the community, needs to be incarcerated. He has the option to surrender. That is what we hope he will do.
Will he be returned to the Chester County Prison if he's apprehended?
We'll discuss that at that point in time. But what I would tell you is that I can assure you that there will be secure measures put in place that he won't be escaping again. And so whether that's at another facility, that's something that we'll be discussing with the district attorney and also with the State Department of Corrections.
Are the troopers going home to home searching to see if he's in one of their homes? Or we heard from some neighbors that they've allowed the troopers to go in and search. They
have been. And so again, we ask their cooperation. So you may see a trooper in that area or somewhere close by knock at your door and ask some questions or ask if they can come in. And again, it's simply that they're trying to make sure that we have thoroughly searched that entire area and that residents' homes are secure.
Can we hear from the U.S. Marshals in terms of what your role is right now?
Sure. I think Lieutenant Colonel Bivens summarized everything perfectly. Our role is to support the Pennsylvania State Police. They are the lead investigator in this investigation, and they come with much experience of these woodland manhunts. We've had numerous manhunts. I think the most recent was in Warren County just a couple months ago. So we're bringing the best of the best assets out here. Their CERT team, their Special Emergency Response Team, is well trained. They're here. Our professionals from the Marshal Service are here as well. And our position is that Danelo Cavalcante's desperateness will not outlast the resolve of our investigators here. And that goes for the state police, that goes for the Marshal Service, our state and county local investigators. We're all on the same team. And like the Lieutenant Colonel said, we will get him, we'll push the threat, he'll make a mistake, and we'll bring him into custody.
So outside that 2-mile radius, you're an expert, you've done this many times. Longwood Gardens is open. I'm not sure if Chester University made a decision yet. Should people outside the 2-mile radius not be as concerned, or what do you say to people outside that 2-mile radius?
I don't think we're there yet. Like the Lieutenant Colonel said, our efforts are focused on that 1.5 to 2-mile radius and inside that inner perimeter. There's been 4 confirmed sightings, so we're not ready to sound the alarm outside of that radius yet. All of our efforts are focused inside, and until we exhaust that or we prove that he's escaped that 2-mile radius, then we can talk about maybe what the public should do outside. But our efforts are all concerned inside that radius.
I mean, a lot of residents are saying, like, how is he still not captured? You have the U.S. Marshals, like, you guys are the experts on this. There's troopers out there. A 2-mile radius is so small. Like, can you just talk a little bit about, like, where could he be? Like, is he in a tree? Like, you know.
When you talk about a 2-mile radius, you got to remember this is a 5-foot tall gentleman, 120 pounds, and this is a heavily wooded area. It's very, very thick back there. There's a lot of hiding spots. There's a lot of ravines back there. And we are an expert in fugitive investigations, but the Pennsylvania State Police are experts in incident command. And I think that's why Lieutenant Colonel Bivens is here. There's nobody better in the agency than him. And I guarantee you that if he is here, that his troopers, along with our investigators, are going to be able to find and locate him.
Is there enough out there that he can actually sustain himself for an extended period of time between water, fruits, anything of that sort?
Is there enough resources out there? I don't know. I don't know what he's obtained. I'm no expert on what's edible out there, what drinking water he's using. From the video the other night, we know he had a backpack on. One of the questions is, where did he get that backpack? So when we say homeowners who are coming back from the shore, check your belongings, see if anything's been disturbed. Are you missing a backpack? That could fill in some voids for us. So as far as sustainability on the land, I'm just not sure. But a man is desperate at this, anything's possible.
Are there any plans to release the recording of his mom?
to release the recording?
The broadcast recording?
To the media?
Yeah.
Not now, there's not. We're utilizing it for our investigations, so that was broadcast, like the Lieutenant Colonel said, through the helicopter yesterday and through patrol cars, in hopes that perhaps, as desperate as he is, maybe he has a change of thought. And here's his mother telling him to surrender, and his family cares about him. He's desperate, he's hungry, he's been in the woods, he's dirty. Perhaps this is what puts him over the edge where we can get a peaceful surrender.
Is his mom in Brazil?
She is.
That's my follow-up question. I know it is in Portuguese, but can you tell us what his mother is actually saying to him?
I don't want to say verbatim. She's just encouraging that his family loves him and that she wants him to surrender. And that's what our hope is as well.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that is the update there from officials in Chester County, Pennsylvania. The search is on for the escaped killer inmate, and they were talking about the struggles right now of trying to locate this individual, and we'll continue to wait for more answers here. Obviously, people in that community are really stressed right now, given the nature here of this escaped killer inmate. So we are going to...
It is extremely sad of the unfortunate tragic death of Deborah. Her children and family are left with so many questions, heartache, and a huge loss to their life. We hope authorities bring this fugitive to justice and may her family finally find peace.